windy out here, but what I want to show you is we just planted peppers. These are anaconda peppers. I've got two very closely planted rows. Then this is a sweet Jimmy peppers. There's 5 of them there. And then I planted 10 Myra peppers. And then over here in this bucket, I want to show you this. I'm going to plant these someplace else. But these are the peppers. They're kind of laying over because of the wind. These are the peppers that we grew from our grocery store peppers. I thought I'd show you a little bit of what's happening in the greenhouse. It's sort of a slow build here because we've got so many other things to do. But I'll give you kind of an overview of what we've built. So what you're looking at right now is the north end, and I've got a service door there. Because the north end doesn't get any direct sunlight and only indirect, I've gone ahead and put a solid door there. I'm eventually going to build a room that you enter into where I'll be able to germinate plants and maybe even bring my plants in when it's cold out. So here I've got celery planted, and then the rest of this is pickles, and they run all the way down there in a raised bed. I put cattle panels up here on the side of the greenhouse, and then and that's for the pickles to find their way up, or actually cucumbers that I'll eventually make into pickles. Then this raised bed, I got some free metal, and it's probably not really strong enough for what I'm doing. I'll probably have to reinforce it a little bit. I did on the other ones. I put some reinforcing rods. But here I have 3 Better Boy peppers. I'm sorry, these are Big Boy peppers, and there's actually 6, 7 Big Boy peppers planted in here right now. I just have them planted in the ground. And then I've got my carrots planted here. I have been having a lot of trouble this year with anything that I planted in ground. The germination has been bad. These are our Big Boy tomatoes. I'm sorry, I called those peppers. Those are tomatoes. These are the Big Boy tomatoes. And you'll see that I ran lines up to these tomahawk clips. That's a steel wire that runs from one end of the greenhouse to the other to hold these up. Now, some of you may be clever enough to have noticed there's no poly on this polytunnel or greenhouse yet. And the reason why I don't have it up yet is we've had wind every day for 2 months, and I can't put the plastic up in the wind. So I decided I'd go ahead and plant this stuff anyway, just hoping that, well, it's not cold out, so the polytunnel would only protect them from the wind, and actually the tomatoes are what I want to protect from the wind a little bit. So hopefully we'll get the poly on this hoop house within the next 2 to 3 weeks. But it's been a combination of I haven't been ready, and now that we're pretty much ready, it's been windy all the time. There's so much to do on the farm during this time of year. I've been weeding onions, I've been weeding potatoes, I've been planting, I've been weeding the plants that I've planted. It's hard to get back to this, and because we had no cool weather this year, I didn't have any time really to work on the hoop house. It was so cold, and then once it got warm enough to work on it, the weather just has not cooperated. So my tip for today, to make this a Shed Wars video, my tip for today is when you plant your tomatoes, you want to plant them on some kind of a line or put them in a cage. What I did, I buried my line down in the ground. Get this stuff out of here. And then I am carefully coming through and taking any suckers off that are growing, because I want to have one, I want to have one stem that I'm working off of. You have to be careful when you do this, especially like this here. You have to decide, is this the stem or is this the stem? So this is actually a sucker. I'm going to pull that out. I've got some flowers starting there. And then I just simply do one of two things, and I'll show you what that is. I'll either wind the plant around the string, and that works pretty good, or we use these clips, and the clips clip onto the string and then they clip around the plant. So one of the things I have to do today is go through and make sure that I'm growing only one stem, and try very carefully not to take the Ameristem, which is the main stem. Try not to take that out, because if you do, then you're going to have to let another sucker grow and become your main stem, and then your greenhouse gets messy. I assume this year my greenhouse is going to get messy, just like last year when I planted these in the field. They got kind of messy because I had never done it this way before. So this is kind of a new way of doing things for me. I used to always grow determinants, and these are indeterminants, and they do have to be pruned. Let me show you one other thing. I've planted some basil. This is actually lemon basil in between my tomato plants, and I've got some grass and some weeds in there too that I'm going to get out. But I've got some lemon basil in there. The lemon basil does a couple of things for me. One, it gives me some basil to put into my sauce when I'm done, but it also helps the plant. It's a type of a companion plant, and it keeps some of the bugs away. All right, I'm Chicken Johnny, and Mitzer Shem. I'll see you again. Eat your vegetables.